Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Come on in. No, my name's not important. Neither is yours. You can call me the modern gentleman. The perfect example of what it is to be a gentleman in the modern age. Postmodern age. Either or. The gentleman is an endangered species. A dying breed. They are few and far between. This was always the case, but is getting much more common these days. Why is that so? Why are we running low on gentlemen? In order to understand why they are fading, one must first understand why they were needed in the first place. To discover the meaning of the gentleman is to hark back to an older time, different age, where brute strength was the rule. So what if you didn't have brute strength? What if you were an absolutely ordinary, unremarkable person? Well, you didn't have many options, really, unless you had a large family. See, back in those days, people were quite prolific, and the human race was mostly made of very large families, sometimes dozens of children. Not all from the same woman, I hope. Anyways, if you got somebody angry, and came after you, looking for your life, you didn't have many options other than to kill him. You had to kill him, because if he got away, he would get his other friends, he would get his cousins, his family. They would come, and all they'd see the next morning was your broken and battered remains lying in a ditch. So the gentleman came out of necessity. If one could not win through brute force, then one simply had to avoid it. And so the gentleman began by creating a list of rules, practices, that enabled him to stay away from such sticky situations. The gentleman was a common figure in nearly any court. One didn't want to offend the king. If you offended the king, well, he employed the executioner. He employed the army, which also acted as a mass executioner. You had to be very careful of what you said around the king. So the gentleman came to the fore again, many, many times. The gentleman would rise and be able to basically handle himself throughout all of the court. He was always on his guard to ensure that he was never caught in his own wording, never ruffled any feathers. Again, mostly out of fear for his own life. One's retirement plans are inevitably shortened when one's life is shortened. However, in the modern era, when swords were replaced by guns, now it didn't take a lot of physical prowess to become very powerful. And again, the role of the gentleman was needed. You would avoid any nasty conflicts in the Wild West, any dueling, shooting. It could get you killed. So you were a gentleman. You avoided it. However, now we are in the modern age, the postmodern age, mind you. And people are largely disarmed. Except for the odd rifles in more populous centers. However, especially in countries where disarming of the people is the practice and the rule, now you can be a jerk without fear of repercussions. You can do all sorts of odious things and not worry, because you know if the other man gets mad at you and tries to kill you, well then you send him away to jail. The system takes care of the problem for you. So the gentleman is no longer needed. People can survive while basically running through life being the biggest douchebags they know how to be. So what do we do? Well, we revive the lost art of being a gentleman. I'll be doing my part with this web series. If you have a question on being a gentleman, send it to threecornerhatproductions@gmail.com. I'll do my best to answer them, and we will all be a little more gentlemanly in our daily dealings.